Yes. Sitting in his car. Go ahead.
Can we try to move it along? I was hoping to, I think one of the main issues that we do need to focus on is, I think it might be difficult to figure out what people are doing subconsciously, but I think what we can tangibly address through our court process here is if there might be some residue of detainee evil decision there that is still, like I think we agreed on wording earlier, supposedly on the books. And I think I suggested in a recent email to you that we should probably be trying to shepherdize that Cheney decision in Dred Scott versus Sanford to see if it is still formally on the books and giving color of legitimacy to corrupted judges and corrupted cops to think that they've got institutionalized preference. I don't think we're going to be able to address what people are doing subconsciously through our court anyway, at least not directly. We can
show evidence of.
Right?
We can show evidence of. We can show evidence of based upon the results. Now, you can find evidence of in areas of housing and things along those lines, okay? But not with regards to dealing with a human being. It's only going to be evidence of. And it's evidence of by me mentioning each of these areas. And I believe that's why I know you limited to 15 minutes, but I will take the entire 15 minutes because it's the action. One executed by sitting in his car before his bachelor's party, walking up the stairwells of his apartment building, even looking for help, holding a fake gun, holding a toy gun in Walmart, laughing, holding a wallet, leaving a party, sleeping in one's own home, sitting in a wheelchair, riding a bike, failing to dim one's lights, walking home from the store, at home eating ice cream on one's own couch, standing at one's window, standing in one's grandmother's backyard, jogging, such as in the case of Ahmaud Arbery, sleeping in his car, standing by the car, driving one's own car, accused of using a counterfeit $20 bill, sleeping in one's bed, allegedly jaywalking. So what we will be able to show is the evidence of, if you've got a situation such as the case of Breonna Taylor, where she is asleep in her own bed, and to this day, no one has been charged for her murder. The only charge brought against the police officers that barged into her house, the wrong house, was for missing her. What I mean by that is the only charge was that an officer discharged his gun and missed, and a bullet went into the neighbor's apartment and got barreled in the wall. He was charged for that. Literally, he was charged for missing her. Okay, recently it's come out that you've got a man allegedly jaywalking that ended up shot and killed. So in terms of that, shepherdizing the books or any court cases that gives legitimacy to that, in the area of killing one, it's not going to be found. You're only going to find evidence of. We can find evidence of it in the such as what's termed as sundown cities. You can find evidence of it in terms of housing and real estate and the deeds, and who a particular property is to be sold to and who a particular property is not to be sold to. Those type of things still exist on the books, and you are able to find. But this, what I'm speaking of, every instance that I've just named, I can give a minimum of one, sometimes more, sometimes up to 9 names under that same area that I just mentioned. So that's why I wanted to mention all the ways that black people and other people of color have been killed by doing these actions, which any other person would not have been killed for. Those are the things. So just as Paul indicated earlier with regards to what's going on there in Georgia with the election and evidence of certain actions in this area, this is what we will be able to present is evidence of. So, and this is how I will be writing the complaint, because those things aren't on the books. Like I said, if we want to focus on real estate, housing. You can't even find it in the areas of medicine. It's not there. However, there are on the universities right now. My niece was a part of a symposium on the web this past week. She's down in Georgia attending Emory College. She's a registered nurse, and she's furthering that in anesthesiology. But she addressed racism in healthcare. That is not something that's in the books. However, you will find evidence of it throughout. So that's how this is going to have to be addressed. That's what allows this to continue to this day.
If I might, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like, well, a number of those instances, especially where death has resulted, I can see that we could just bring a straight-up complaint of murder, especially against cops that routinely murder people of all races. And I don't doubt that they are preferring to murder black people over white people. I grant all that. But it seems to me like, especially if we don't have any shepherdizable evidence that links us directly back to the Dred Scott decision, that maybe it's best to just not try to engage that previously suggested portion of the discussion and just start bringing cases before our court where black people have been murdered and just call it straight up lawless murder and accuse the cops of being lawless thug jackbooted Nazi murderers and just go straight with that in a much more simple and direct and straightforward manner. I yield.
The problem that I have with that, Charles, is that if the Dred Scott decision is not discussed and is not overturned in some way, shape, or form with another jury verdict, it still stands. And for those that are members of the Republic and have taken whatever steps they deem necessary to capture or control their elective franchise, they have taken those steps to sever any presumptions that they are acting as surety for that particular creature. Then there is nothing else that exists in the form of a court a trial or a case that recognizes any human rights of anyone else or any non-white citizen, period. I yield.
Okay, well, it's obviously going to take a little bit of more study for us to try to optimize the essence of your concern here. I believe I'm on board with the general essence of your concern here. I'm just not quite certain how it can be efficiently presented to our audience and the members of our court here.
I will be working on that over the next over the upcoming weeks in authoring that complaint, and then everyone will have something in writing to take a look at. They can kind of chew on and digest and offer any input. As such, I'd like to hear any input at this time from anyone else on the board as well. I yield.
Yes.